So one of these
they look
kids,
at our southern border and they look at the southern border and they say people come across the border illegally. No consequences there. Actually, they get a pretty good deal. They get a phone. I don't know what else they get, credit card, and they're a bus ride somewhere and maybe a plane ride somewhere, and they're in America.
Yeah.
Now, it is absolutely unbelievable, this
America,
new culture that we are creating.
Yeah, we get taken for a ride, Pete, the American taxpayer. That's what I've heard about all that. We get taken for a ride there. So one of these kids that is learning that they might not graduate, their financial aid is in trouble, everything's in trouble because they got jammed up and arrested at Columbia. This feels very dystopian. A comparative literature and society major, she is. A comparative literature and society, you're a society major. What job do you get with that, by the way? I saw that, I sort of said, what the heck is that? Anyhow, it's a joke, right? It's a terrible thing.
It is. And, like you said, the taxpayer gets holding the bag on this. And It's not us, Steve, but it's also their fellow classmates. Some of these schools have now they've canceled school. They've closed their campus for the rest of the year. So these kids want amnesty as the college has been forced to close their campus. Their classmates, may not be able to graduate. They won't have a graduation ceremony, but they're saying, "Oh, give me a break. I didn't know there were going to be. You mean there's actually going to be consequences to what I did? That is a unique concept.
What a concept!
Now, I mean, who came up with that idea?
Yeah, mean old people. White supremacists, Pete. White supremacists came up with that idea. Anyhow, all right. Let me be done with that for a second. Let's talk about Michigan. I keep looking at the polling in Michigan. It keeps getting better for Donald Trump and Republicans overall. It looks like, of all the swing states, first of all, I don't think Georgia and North Carolina are swing states anymore, but you're the chair of the Michigan Republican Party. Came through a storm for you to get there, but that's where we are, and you're rebuilding the party and the structure statewide. Where do you see Michigan right now? I mean, I'm seeing some polls that show Donald Trump by 4 or 5 points. It seems a little optimistic to me, but what are you really feeling? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think from the last two election cycles, presidential election cycles, we've seen that the polls were way, way wrong. In 2016, nobody predicted Trump to win the election, more or less even coming close in Michigan, and we won Michigan. So I don't trust the polls. I run like we're in Michigan, like we're tied, and we're going to do everything we can to push across the finish line. So I forget about the polls, but hey, when you're talking to folks, it's this whole push. Gordon Chang had a great article out over the weekend, covered on Fox News, that talked about the Chinese Communist Party and their intent to destroy the U.S. auto industry. I believe that is true.
Of course it is.
Yet Michigan is funding it, and this whole EV push. The union workers in Michigan, they're looking for somebody else. I talk to a lot of young people, or younger adults with 1 or 2 kids, and they're saying, "Hey, our grocery bills have basically
doubled,
almost doubled, in the last couple of years. They're getting hammered." And the most important thing, I think, over the weekend, again, there was these are the polls that I do kind of believe. 60% of people are saying that they see the Biden administration as being a failure, and they're looking fondly back at the Trump years.
Yeah, that's what we talked about.
We weren't.
So we talked about off the top here. The new Gallup poll shows Joe Biden's approval rating 38.7%. It's the lowest mark ever in 70 years of asking this question. He's behind Richard Nixon. Yeah. He's behind Jimmy Carter. He's behind Barack Obama. And by the way, Donald Trump's ahead of all 3 of those people at this time in his presidency, just for the record. And he's behind Donald Trump. Oh, my God, how could that happen? It's happened.
Yeah, because people are looking at it. Like I said, they look at their grocery bills. Gas prices in Michigan are fluctuating, from week to week. I don't know how they fluctuate this much, but they're going from $3.39 to $3.89. For the last 3-4 weeks, that's where they've been. But even, it gets scary in Michigan with the amount of driving that many of our folks do, where you're happy and you say, hey, I got to stop. Gas is at $3.39 today because tomorrow may be at $3.59. So gas prices are hammering. There's not a single thing that you can look at today where you're saying, oh man, at least we're not involved in any wars. Excuse me, we just sent $100 billion, to other countries
to prop up war,
because of the wars that they are involved in.